Never did I imagine that an anonymous letter could shatter my world into pieces. But that's exactly what happened on a dreary Seattle afternoon. I'm Darius Kane, pushing 34, making my living as a market data analyst at a modest advertising firm. My life was a picture of stability and routine. I had my cozy apartment, a reliable job, and what I believed was a rock-solid 5-year marriage to Lila Torres, a driven 32-year-old who served as marketing director at an up-and-coming cosmetics company. We were inseparable, or at least that's what I told myself, until that letter appeared on my desk like an unexploded bomb. The office was winding down for the day, with rain pelting against the window panes and most of my colleagues already gone. I just wrapped up some number crunching for an upcoming presentation when I spotted it. A simple piece of paper, folded in half, mysteriously placed on my desk. No postmark, no envelope, just sitting there innocently. As I unfolded it, my world tilted. Written in stark black ink was the message: Lila is cheating on you with Jonas Carver. Be careful. A friend. Nothing more. No explanation, no signature, just those words and a name, Jonas Carver, some freelance designer Lila had mentioned in passing. My heart started racing. Could this be someone's sick joke? A mix-up? Or something more sinister? I sank back in my chair, those words searing themselves into my memory. True, Lila had been acting different lately, coming home later than usual, citing endless meetings, keeping her phone under constant lock and key. But infidelity? With Jonas? I tried dismissing it as ridiculous, but uncertainty began seeping in like Seattle's notorious mist. The mystery of the letter's delivery nagged at me. I hadn't seen anyone approach my desk all afternoon. Someone had planted it there, someone who knew both of us. With trembling fingers, I quickly tucked it into my bag, not wanting to risk anyone else seeing it. Not now. Here's where things start getting intense. And believe me, there's much more to come. But before we continue this wild journey, let me take a quick pause. Where are you following this story from? Mentally send a hello from your city, and imagine me waving back from rain-soaked Seattle. If you're intrigued by this opening, don't forget to subscribe for what happens next. Trust me, you won't regret sticking around. Back to that fateful day. I stumbled out of the office in a daze, the mysterious letter burning like a hot coal in my bag. During my drive home, my thoughts spiraled uncontrollably. Lila and I had always been a perfect match. She was this unstoppable force of nature, constantly pursuing the next big marketing breakthrough, while I remained the anchor, carefully planning our shared future. Recently, though, she'd become a stranger in our shared space. Just yesterday, she'd barely acknowledged my presence, completely absorbed in her laptop, mumbling about an urgent deadline. Now I wondered, was that just another deception? Was Jonas really the one occupying her attention during those late-night email sessions? My grip tightened on the steering wheel, the rhythmic swish of windshield wipers cutting through the rain, matching the turbulent thoughts storming through my mind. Arriving home, I found the house empty. A hastily scribbled note on the kitchen counter informed me she'd be working late again, another client dinner. How convenient. I poured myself a generous bourbon, settled at the kitchen table, and retrieved the letter. Reading it once more, then again, each word felt like a needle piercing deeper. Jonas Carver. I'd encountered him once at a corporate event. Lila had insisted I attend. A tall, lanky fellow with disheveled hair and an irritatingly confident smile. He'd seemed harmless then. Now, that same smile felt like a mockery. I reached for my phone, nearly calling her to demand explanations, but hesitated. What if she denied everything? What if she confessed? I needed concrete evidence before potentially destroying everything we'd built. That's when I noticed it. Her work bag, carelessly draped over a chair, forgotten in her rush. My heart pounded as I approached it. Against my better judgment, I opened it, searching through the usual office debris, documents, writing implements, makeup, until something unusual caught my attention. A crumpled receipt. Carefully unfolding it revealed a Los Angeles coffee shop transaction from the previous weekend, when she claimed to be visiting her sister in Portland. My breath hitched. Los Angeles. Jonas's city. The room began to spin. This wasn't just an anonymous accusation anymore. This was tangible evidence. I collapsed into the chair, clutching both the receipt and letter, while rain pounded relentlessly outside. Someone had exposed this secret. Someone wanted me to discover the truth. But who and why? I couldn't shake off the unsettling sensation of being watched, feeling certain this was merely the beginning. One thing was crystal clear. My marriage, my peaceful existence, was as fragile as a house of cards, and the first devastating gust had just struck. That Los Angeles receipt gnawed at my conscience like a persistent splinter, impossible to ignore. As Darius Kane, I found myself haunted by the anonymous letters' accusations about my wife Lila's affair with Jonas Carver, a name that had been insignificant until it became the center of my torment. The coffee shop receipt discovered in her bag was the final straw, transforming my creeping suspicions into an overwhelming need for answers. I began my investigation with calculated precision, determined to uncover the truth before Lila could detect my suspicions. The following morning, I fabricated a sick day, my voice deliberately raspy during the phone call to work. Lila departed early for her startup, leaving me with a perfunctory kiss that seemed devoid of its usual warmth. After watching her car vanish around the corner, I retrieved our shared laptop from its shelf. Her password was predictably simple, a combination of her birth date and our cat's name. As the screen illuminated, I delved into her browser history with trembling hands. Hidden beneath mundane online shopping and work correspondence lay the damning evidence. Flight searches to Los Angeles from 2 weeks prior. My stomach churned as I recalled her Portland story about visiting her sister, a lie that now seemed insultingly transparent. Each subsequent discovery felt like another blow. Hotel reservations at an upscale Los Angeles boutique matched the flight dates perfectly. Then came the most devastating find, a deleted restaurant booking for two at an intimate venue, judging by the establishment's atmospheric photos. I slumped back in my creaking chair, listening to the rain's mocking rhythm against the windows as my world crumbled. Was Jonas her companion that night? Or was there another player in this deception? The letter mentioned his name, but could there be more to the story? Seeking clarity, I contacted Selena Voss, Lila's closest friend since our wedding day and a seasoned PR professional. Selena answered after 3 rings, her tone artificially bright. "Darius, what's going on?" I maintained a casual demeanor, keeping my voice steady. "Just checking in. Lila's been so busy lately. Have you two caught up recently?" Her hesitation spoke volumes. "Oh, you know how it is with the startup, keeping her busy," she replied hastily. "Deadlines everywhere." I pushed further. "Has she mentioned Jonas Carver at all?" Another telling pause, followed by an unconvincing laugh. "Jonas? The designer? Haven't heard that name in ages. Why do you ask?" I mumbled something about work-related matters, thanked her, and ended the call. Her deception was palpable, her voice taut with concealed knowledge. That evening, Lila arrived home late again, her heels echoing through the hallway as she deposited her bag by the entrance. From my position on the couch, I feigned absorption in my phone while observing her movements. "How was your evening, honey?" I inquired, striving to maintain a casual tone. She collapsed beside me with an audible exhale. Draining, the client meeting dragged on forever. Her gaze darted away suspiciously, and an unfamiliar floral fragrance wafted toward me, distinctly different from her signature perfume. I maintained my composure despite my clenched jaw, continuing my performance as the unsuspecting spouse. "Rest well," I called out as she retreated to our bedroom. She remained unaware as I retrieved her phone from her bag after she'd fallen asleep. In the dimly lit kitchen, illuminated only by the phone's glow, my finger hovered over her passcode. 6 numbers, identical to her laptop combination. Upon unlocking it, I immediately accessed her messages. Nothing immediately suspicious appeared. Work conversations, exchanges with her sister, until I discovered a blocked contact with deleted messages. My heart nearly stopped. Moving to her email, I discovered a revealing draft in the trash folder. "Heading to LA this weekend. Can't wait to see you." Though in signed and addressless, the message's intention was unmistakable. I captured a screenshot with my own device, another piece of evidence in this unwanted investigation. When Friday arrived, Lila announced an unexpected business trip to Portland. Back Sunday, she promised, planting a kiss on my forehead, her luggage already prepared. I offered a smile and wished her safe travels, but the moment she departed, I accessed our shared banking account. A morning transaction appeared, not in Portland, but the same Los Angeles hotel from her search history. Hands trembling, I contacted the establishment, posing as a concerned spouse. "Hello, I'm checking on my wife, Lila Torres, just ensuring she arrived safely." After a moment's hesitation, the clerk confirmed. "Yes, sir, she checked in recently, accompanied by a gentleman." The words "gentleman" nearly caused me to drop my phone. I stood motionless, watching raindrops trace patterns on the window panes. The house's silence broken only by my uneven breathing. She was there, in LA with him. Jonas, or whoever he might be, wasn't the point. The deception was real, the betrayal confirmed. But the letter that started it all, who sent it? Was it Lila covering her tracks? Selena causing trouble? Or someone else, watching from the shadows? Though uncertain now, I was determined to uncover the truth. This extended beyond her actions now. Someone wanted me to witness this, and I refused to remain willfully blind any longer. The clerk's confirmation reverberated through my mind like a thunderclap. With a gentleman. I'm Darius Kane, and my wife Lila had just been confirmed in an LA hotel with another man while I remained in our Seattle home, my phone nearly slipping from my trembling grasp. The mounting evidence was overwhelming. Flight searches, mysteriously deleted emails, suspicious bank transactions, all leading to Jonas Carver, the name that had haunted me since that first anonymous letter. But mere knowledge wasn't sufficient. I needed her confession, wanted to witness her discomfort, so I devised an elaborate scheme she wouldn't anticipate. That night, I paced restlessly as rain pelted against the windows, my thoughts oscillating between fury and calculated planning. Direct confrontation would prove futile. She'd deny everything, manipulate the truth as she'd been doing these past months. Instead, I needed to catch her unaware, let her believe I remained oblivious while I orchestrated everything. Saturday morning, I created an anonymous email account, ensuring it couldn't be traced. I composed a message to myself. Lila's meeting Jonas again, spotted them in LA yesterday. A concerned friend. The tone matched the initial letter, brief, ambiguous, threatening. After sending it, I strategically left my laptop open on the kitchen counter, screen illuminated, waiting for her return. Sunday evening, Lila arrived home, her luggage making a dull thud as it hit the floor, her expression artificially bright. "Hi, honey," she called out. Removing her shoes, Portland was exhausting. I played along, my heart racing beneath my calm exterior. "You must be tired," I remarked, gesturing toward the laptop. "Got this strange email while you were away. Take a look." She approached hesitantly, leaning over to read. Her expression flickered momentarily before hardening. "What's this supposed to mean?" she demanded, whirling around. "You're accusing me of cheating because of some random email?" I raised my hands defensively, intentionally making my voice waver. "I don't know what to think, Lila. It's the second one. I'm losing my mind here." She snatched her keys angrily. "I need some space," she spat, storming out. Everything was proceeding according to plan. She'd fallen for it, but there was more to come. I'd previously hidden a small GPS tracker in her car's trunk, purchased discreetly from a downtown electronics store. Activating it on my phone, I watched the blinking indicator spring to life as she drove away. Instead of heading to her mother's place, her usual refuge during arguments, the dot moved rapidly toward Tacoma, an hour's drive south. My stomach tightened with anticipation. Was she meeting Jonas? Someone else? Donning a dark hoodie, I grabbed my keys and followed at a safe distance, keeping my headlights dimmed when possible. The drizzle subsided as I entered Tacoma, following the tracker's signal to a weathered brick apartment complex, its facade marred by age and neglect. Her vehicle rested in the parking area, engine still radiating warmth when I positioned my car 2 blocks away. Moving stealthily with my hood drawn, I navigated through the shadows. The target apartment sat on the 3rd floor, corner position, with partially drawn curtains. Concealed behind a waste container, phone poised, I spotted her Lila, her hair cascading freely, sharing a laugh with a man. Tall and lean with disheveled hair, unmistakably Jonas Carver. My heart constricted, but I steadied myself to capture images, adjusting the zoom for crisp silhouettes against the muted lighting. When he drew her into a kiss, I almost lost my grip on the device. I remained motionless, breathing quietly, my focus entirely consumed by that illuminated window. Then something peripheral caught my attention, movement in the parking area. A shadowy figure in a dark overcoat, hooded, lingering suspiciously near Lila's car, their stillness unnaturally deliberate. I strained to see clearly, my heartbeat accelerating. The figure maintained their position briefly before vanishing into the darkness. Unease crept along my spine. Could this be the mysterious letter sender? Perhaps Selena, conducting her own surveillance? Or someone entirely unknown? Pursuit wasn't an option without compromising my position, so I maintained my post, redirecting my attention to Lila and Jonas, their mirth. Penetrating the window like a sharp knife. The drive home passed in a blur, the photographs weighing heavily in my pocket, that mysterious observer's presence haunting my thoughts. Lila believed she'd outmaneuvered me by escaping to her paramour, but I now possessed irrefutable evidence, like an entomologist specimen perfectly preserved. Yet this situation had evolved beyond a simple infidelity. Who else was observing her? What motivated their repeated warnings to me? Collapsing onto my sofa, accompanied by intensifying rainfall that echoed my tumultuous thoughts, I realized this had transcended mere marital betrayal. Another player lurked in the periphery, manipulating unseen mechanisms, and I needed to identify them before they made their next move. That Tacoma window had revealed enough to confirm my marriage's dissolution, but the parking lot observer tormented my sleepless night. I'm Darius Kane, and while tracking Lila to her rendezvous with Jonas Carver yielded damning photographic evidence, that mysterious figure by her car remained an enigmatic variable. Were they connected to the initial letter, or represented a new element in this complex scenario? Answers awaited when Lila returned, whether she cooperated or not. Monday arrived with a somber gray sky, the downpour diminishing to a gentle drizzle. I called in sick again, my supervisor reluctantly accepting my absence despite his evident displeasure. Restlessly, I moved through the apartment, where photographs lay scattered across the coffee table like evidence at a crime scene, each image inflicting fresh emotional wounds. Around 6, the sound of Lila's car, tires crushing gravel, announced her arrival, and I steeled myself, my hands growing clammy with anticipation. She entered casually, dropping her keys on the counter with practiced nonchalance. "Hey," she greeted breezily. "Sorry about yesterday's outburst. I needed some space to decompress." I remained stoic, gesturing toward the table. "Take a seat, Lila. The charade ends now." She halted abruptly, her gaze landing on the photographs, the color visibly draining from her features. "Were these?" She faltered, approaching tentatively, trembling hands reaching for a photo that unmistakably showed Jonas embracing her. Leaning against the wall, arms crossed, I spoke with icy composure. "That's Tacoma, not Portland or your mother's place. Want to explain?" She released the photo, her mouth working soundlessly. "Darius, please, it's not what you're thinking. Jonas is just a friend. Honestly." My laughter emerged harsh and cynical, silencing her. "Save it. I tracked your car, witnessed your intimate moment. You're exposed, so drop the pretense." Her strength seemed to desert her as she collapsed onto the couch, tears forming. "Fine," she conceded, her voice breaking. "I've been seeing Jonas for 6 months. It wasn't intentional." I regarded her with contained fury. "Why?" I demanded quietly but firmly. She dabbed at her eyes, avoiding my gaze. "You're perpetually working, Darius, lost in your data analysis." I felt neglected. Jonas provides attention, excitement, things I needed. I scoffed, stepping closer. "So you orchestrate secret LA trips and fabricate stories because I'm insufficiently entertaining? That's your justification?" She recoiled before gathering herself, raising her chin defiantly. "You don't understand. I was suffocating here." Fighting the urge to explode, I played my final card. "Explain the letter," I said, retrieving the wrinkled original from my pocket. "The one exposing you and Jonas. Who's behind it?" Her eyes widened with unmistakable fear as she shook her head vigorously. "I don't know. Maybe someone at work jealous of my promotion." Unconvinced, I retrieved her laptop from the shelf, opened it, and thrust it toward her. "Show me your email, now." She wavered momentarily, her fingers suspended above the keyboard, before reluctantly logging in with shaking hands. I positioned myself behind her, observing as she navigated through her emails, but impatience got the better of me. I seized control of the mouse, clicked into the trash folder, and there it was, a draft that mirrored the first letter exactly. Lila is cheating with Jonas. Be careful. A friend. My breath caught in my throat. You created this, I whispered, turning to face her, my voice constricted with shock. You sent this to me? She recoiled, tears streaming down her face. I never sent it, I swear. I only drafted it as a contingency, in case you grew suspicious, but I deleted it immediately. I never meant to use it. I stagger backward, my mind reeling. You orchestrated this whole thing, I accused, my voice escalating, keeping me distracted with wild goose chases while you ran to him. She broke down, reaching out desperately. Darius, please understand, I was scared. I'm so sorry. I pulled away sharply, retrieved my phone, and displayed the second email I'd fabricated. What about this one? I demanded, thrusting the screen toward her. She stared bewildered, then inhaled sharply. That wasn't me, she whispered faintly. Someone else wrote that. A chill ran through me. If she hadn't sent the second message, who had? The mysterious figure I'd spotted in Tacoma flashed through my thoughts, that hooded silhouette, observing, lurking. I grabbed my coat, my resolve crystallizing. We're finished, Lila, I declared emotionlessly. I slammed my wedding ring onto the table, its metallic sound piercing the quiet. Go be with Jonas or whoever else, but you're dead to me now. Don't attempt contact, it's over. She lunged forward, clutching my arm. Please, we can salvage this. I love you. I shrugged her off, strode out, her sobs fading as I emerged onto the street. I checked into a nearby motel. As rain began falling again, pounding against the roof while I sat on the uncomfortable bed, examining the photos and letter. Her admission explained some things, but the second email and that shadowy figure remained puzzling pieces. Someone else was manipulating events from behind the scenes, and I was determined to uncover their identity. Leaving Lila felt like breaking free from invisible chains. But the mystery of that second email nagged at me like a persistent itch. I'm Darius Kane, lying on a cheap motel bed after exposing my wife's affair with Jonas Carver and learning she crafted that first letter to throw me off. Her confession shattered my reality, but the question of who sent the second warning and their motives kept me awake. As Seattle's rain subsided, the repercussions were just beginning to unfold, affecting everyone caught in this web of deceit, and it wasn't going to be pretty. 7 days later, I signed the divorce papers in a lawyer's office that reeked of day-old coffee and shattered dreams. Lila didn't contest it, just sent a feeble apology text that I ignored. I relocated to a budget rental near the waterfront, where paper-thin walls carried the sounds of neighbors' midnight quarrels. I threw myself into work, and fortune smiled. A major data analytics project I proposed months earlier earned me a promotion. The only condition? Relocating to Denver. A clean slate I eagerly embraced. I packed minimally, abandoned my past in storage boxes, and drove eastward, watching the Cascade Mountains diminish in my mirror. Lila's world, however, crumbled like a house of cards. Selena Voss, her PR colleague, reached out unexpectedly a month later, her voice heavy with remorse. She'd been avoiding me since my Jonas interrogation, but now she revealed everything. Lila's startup had collapsed. Rumors of her affair spread, clients fled, and investors withdrew their backing. She lost her position, sold our house at a discount, and moved in with her brother in Oregon, surviving on retail work. Selena hesitated before adding that Jonas had abandoned her too, vanishing when the scandal erupted, leaving her devastated in a local bar. I smiled grimly, standing on my Denver apartment balcony, watching the Rockies catch the evening light. Karma's brutal, I remarked, ending the call. But Selena's revelation triggered something else. She mentioned an odd detail. Someone had sent Lila an anonymous note after my departure, containing just 2 words, "You deserve it." My heart raced. Another letter? I pressed for more information, but Selena claimed ignorance, saying Lila had destroyed it in panic. I paced my apartment, the city's ambient noise humming below. Could it be the same person from Tacoma, that mysterious hooded figure near a car? To send her the second email? I retrieved my phone, comparing the fake message I'd created with the genuine one I'd received. Different styles, different wording. Lila hadn't written the second. Her shock when I showed it was too genuine. Someone else was observing, punishing her, or perhaps targeting us both. Work became my sanctuary, but trust remained elusive. During a marketing summit in Denver, I encountered Nia Hargrove, a 30-year-old freelance writer whose piercing gaze matched her infectious laughter. She approached me for insights on data analytics, and over coffee, her probing questions penetrated my carefully constructed defenses. Despite my growing fondness for her, Lila's deception haunted me. Every genuine smile reminded me of past betrayals. One evening, as we shared drinks, I cautiously revealed fragments of my story, deliberately omitting the letters, gauging her response. She listened attentively, maintaining respectful boundaries, but I noticed her phone screen illuminate with a message. Check on him. My instincts flared. Who sent that? I remained silent, adding another suspicious detail to my mental inventory. Selena's ghost lingered persistently. Her email arrived a week later, filled with remorse, confessing she'd suspected Lila's affair for months, but remained silent, fearing the loss of their friendship. Now consumed by guilt, she sought reconciliation. I left her message unanswered, letting her conscience weigh heavy. Her previous silence had only intensified the damage, and I felt no obligation to offer absolution. Yet her revelation nagged at me. She mentioned spotting a peculiar figure at Lila's workplace before the first letter appeared, a man in dark attire, lurking near her workspace. My thoughts immediately returned to Tacoma, that shadowy presence, the mysterious note. Mere coincidence, or was something more sinister connecting these threads? Lila's downfall should have brought satisfaction, but emptiness prevailed. One night in my Denver apartment, as wind battered the window panes, I found myself scrolling through our old photographs, remnants of happier times before deceit poisoned everything. She'd pursued thrills, destroying our foundation, ultimately falling from grace. While I'd ascended professionally in a new city, the victory felt hollow, leaving me with persistent wariness. The anonymous sender remained at large, a phantom wielding words as weapons, creating chaos before disappearing. Nursing a beer, gazing at the urban landscape, I resolved to unmask them, not for vengeance, but to banish the shadows haunting my nights. What should have been closure, Lila's ruin juxtaposed with my fresh start in Denver, instead felt like an unfinished chapter. I'm Darius Kane, who escaped a faithless marriage and intricate deceptions, yet remained entangled in their aftermath. Though the immediate crisis had passed, her business destroyed, and my career flourishing, the enigma of that second email and the Tacoma shadow continued to plague my thoughts. From my new residence, listening to mountain winds howl, I reflected on the significance and cost of it all. One brisk autumn evening, I leaned against my balcony railing, nursing a beer while watching the city lights flicker beneath me. My phone vibrated, unknown caller. I nearly dismissed it, but something made me answer hesitantly. Hello? A familiar voice, now trembling and subdued, came through. Darius, it's me, Lila. My body tensed, fingers gripping the bottle tighter. Her voice carried none of its former confidence. Before I could end the call, she continued hurriedly. I'm not asking for forgiveness, but there's something you should know. My teeth clenched involuntarily. What is it? She drew an unsteady breath. Someone slipped a letter under my door last week. No signature, just 3 words. He's next. I think they mean you. The night air suddenly felt glacial against my skin. Another threatening note? I pressed for details. Tell me everything about it, Lila. She explained shakily, computer-printed text on standard paper, discovered at her brother's Oregon residence. I don't know who's behind this, she whispered, but I'm worried about you, Darius. I laughed bitterly, concealing my growing anxiety. Now you're concerned for my welfare? After everything you did? Her response came after a long pause. I know I destroyed everything. I just thought you needed to know. The call ended abruptly, leaving me staring into the darkness, dread settling in my stomach. He's next. Me? But why? I discarded my beer and paced my apartment, thoughts churning. Lila's life had crumbled, unemployed, abandoned by Jonas, hiding in Oregon, and now this threat directed at me. I opened my laptop, searching through archived files, Tacoma photographs, old emails, hunting for connections. The mysterious figure near her vehicle, the person Selena glimpsed at her workplace, that burned note reading "You deserve it," and now this. Someone was orchestrating these events, a vengeful specter, and I'd become their target. I dialed Nia Hargrove, the journalist I befriended, needing her analytical perspective. She answered warmly, "Hey there, what's going on?" I shared everything about the new letter and my suspicions of Stalker. After a pause, she responded thoughtfully. "Last month, I received an anonymous tip about someone investigating your ex's company. I dismissed it then, but now I'm wondering." My heart raced uncontrollably. Someone investigating Lila's company? I pushed for details. Who? She had no answers, just mentioned a mysterious voicemail, rough voice, nameless caller. After thanking her, I hung up and leaned back, my mind churning with possibilities. Perhaps a bitter competitor from her startup days, someone who'd suffered heavy losses in its downfall, holding both of us responsible. Or was Selena orchestrating something more complex? Her remorse merely a facade? I grabbed my jacket and headed to a gritty bar downtown, seeking the buzz of crowd, noise to clear my thoughts. Though dimly lit and crowded, I noticed a figure at the bar watching me, dark jacket, hood concealing their face. When I turned to look, they vanished through the back exit, disappearing before I could pursue. A chill ran down my spine. Could that be them, the anonymous letter writer, now following my movements? A few days passed before Selena reached out again, more insistent this time. She'd relocated to Boulder, requested a meeting, claimed to have evidence that another person had known about Lila's infidelity from the beginning. I ignored it, deleted the message, but seeds of uncertainty took root. What if she was telling the truth? Standing by my window that evening, watching Denver skyline cut through the darkness, reality sank in. Yes, Lila's betrayal had devastated me, but it had also propelled me forward toward better opportunities, a fresh start. She'd lost everything, while I'd managed to escape the worst. Yet this mysterious writer embodied a deeper lesson. Truth always surfaces slowly but surely, and deception breeds a chaos that's impossible to escape. The breeze settled as I took a deep breath, thinking about Nia. I'd sent her a casual text earlier, just testing the waters. Her response was simple, just an emoji, but it felt genuine, promising. Perhaps I could start again, not rushing into love, but building something authentic. Whatever came, the letters, the stalker, I'd face it head on, refusing to let it control me. Life's too brief to be haunted. I'd learned that lesson painfully. Deceit always returns like a boomerang, and when it does, you either avoid the impact or take the hit. I'm choosing to stand my ground. That night's Rocky Mountain wind was bitter, but nothing compared to the ice Lila's call left in my veins. I'm Darius Kane, survivor of a shattered marriage with Lila, rebuilding in Denver, only to find those threatening letters still haunting me. Her trembling voice warning, "He's next," kept replaying, and that bar encounter with a hooded figure fleeing through the back had transformed my fresh start into a dangerous game. But I wasn't finished, not with some unknown puppet master pulling strings, and what followed nearly shattered me completely. I awoke the following morning to an urgent message from my friend Nia Hargrove, a seasoned journalist. Meet at Union Station by noon, major development. Despite the unease in my stomach, I grabbed my jacket and made my way downtown through the bustling city streets. She stood waiting by the platform, eyes scanning nervously, clutching a manila envelope. "Everything all right?" I whispered. She nodded, passing me the envelope. "Found this in my mailbox, anonymous sender. Thought you should see it first." With trembling fingers, I tore it open, my heart pounding as I extracted a single photograph. A grainy but distinct shot of me on my balcony last week, taken from below. The back bore an ominous message in crimson ink. "Time's up." My legs nearly gave out as I gripped the railing, Nia supporting me. Who's behind this? I managed, scrutinizing every passing face in the crowd. She responded tensely, "Unknown, but Darius, they're watching closely." I tucked the photo away, my thoughts racing. The threatening letters to Lila, the mysterious bar figure, and now this surveillance. Someone wasn't just observing, they were making their move. Nia urged, "You need police protection immediately." Though I agreed, I remained frozen, struck by a chilling possibility. Could Selena Voss be involved? I'd ignored her persistent messages and meeting requests, but her mention of someone at Lila's workplace lingered uncomfortably. I called her directly, my tone sharp. "Selena, Darius here, where are you?" After a pause, she answered, "In Boulder, what's wrong?" I pressed, "That person you noticed at Lila's office. Tell me everything." She described him, tall, dark coat, frequently near the break room, keeping to himself. My heart sank. Similar to the one I encountered in Tacoma, I demanded. Her voice wavered. Perhaps. I'm sorry I didn't say more before. I ended the call, anger building. Her belated apology meant nothing if she'd withheld crucial information. Later, alone in my darkened apartment, I studied the photograph intently, willing it to reveal its secrets. A sudden knock startled me. Cautiously approaching the door, heart racing, I peered through the peephole. Finding no one, I discovered a folded note. You escaped her, but not me. Breathing heavily, hands trembling, I contacted Nia, sharing everything. She insisted on staying over for safety. We remained awake, strategizing, as she contacted potential private investigators while I gripped a baseball bat, every sound amplifying our paranoia. Dawn brought a call from Lila's brother, his voice heavy with concern. She's vanished, Darius. Left yesterday with just a note saying she couldn't handle it anymore. My stomach churned with unease. Handle what? His exhausted sigh crackled through the line. Those threatening letters, the crushing guilt. They kept coming, and she finally broke. Said she's sorry to you for everything. I collapsed onto my couch under Nia's watchful gaze, the reality crashing down. Lila had crumbled, fleeing from the consequences of her actions, while I remained here, stalked by an unnamed threat. Later, Nia's investigator friend reported. Back. The photograph traced to a disposable phone purchased in Seattle. Another dead and crackling with hidden danger. Her betrayal had wounded us both differently. Hers a slow, consuming drain, mine a deep, permanent gash. She'd lost everything. Her professional standing, her relationship, her residence, disappearing into uncertainty. Meanwhile, I'd rebuilt, only to live with the constant sensation of being watched. The price wasn't merely our marriage. It was our sense of security, our ability to trust precious things that, once shattered, resist restoration. Looking at Nia's unwavering presence, I considered the possibility of healing, but the lesson remained stark. Deceptions don't simply dissolve. They spawn dark specters that pursue you relentlessly until you confront them or surrender. I chose resilience, standing firm with my makeshift weapon, prepared for whatever came next. The journey today has come to an end. Did you find this ending satisfying, or did it catch you off guard? Let us know how you feel right below. If you love this story, don't forget to drop a like and subscribe so you won't miss the next adventure. Thanks for sticking with us, and see you in the next tale.